the greatest theme song in the history of Fight Hype Live. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sean Zittel back at it from the high-tech studio offices in Las Vegas, Nevada for another Z-Cap, another Fight Hype Live. And all right, let's cut the official music. You know, I just can't help myself. I feel I need some kind of theme music to have anything resembling a real show here. So here we are. We're less than 2 weeks out now from Spence and Crawford. I'll be covering that ringside here in Las Vegas, but a couple of things to get to. Some extra bulletin board material for Terrence Crawford as Derek James reminds Mrs. Crawford, Mama Crawford, not to bring her dancing shoes July 29th for his assignment with his fighter Errol Spence against Terrence Crawford. Now we're not trying to paint Crawford as a sympathetic figure here. He, with Errol Spence's father in the front row in New York City, I was there. He asked him if he likes fish and, basically would he like to eat his son when he's done cooking him on the July 29th. So, it's not to paint Terrence Crawford as some sympathetic figure. He went at Spence's dad, and now Derek James didn't really go at Mrs. Crawford, Mama Crawford, but I can guarantee you that's bulletin board material because Terrence Crawford has a little bit of a psychotic mentality like a lot of great athletes do when it comes to approaching their competition. They look for any and everything as a slight, and even if the slight doesn't exist, kind of like that famous story with Michael Jordan and the player from the Wizards, they make it up in their head. I remember Terrence Crawford, pulling from straws. He was a significant favorite to beat Victor Postal, but let him tell it, and all of us were picking Victor Postal, and we're saying he has a jab like Iquarte and Tommy Hearns, and so even as a favorite, Terrence Crawford finds a way to play mental gymnastics on himself to believe that people are doubting him and he's the underdog. So, going up against Spence and Derek James making his comment about not bringing the dancing shoes from his mom, I can guarantee you that is extra motivation for Terrence Crawford, who, went back and forth with Errol Spence's father in New York. So, we're not victimizing him or anything, but the real point is he's definitely gonna grasp that for extra fuel to the fire. And they got an old phrase in sports, which means you don't tug on Superman's cape. You let sleeping dogs lie. You don't tug on Superman's cape. And I do think Derek James may have done that a little bit. So, but what's up, chat? We got over 300 people in here. We do got to talk about Frank Martin's performance over Artem Harutyunyan. A performance I felt was a little underrated by most fans and media and even the Showtime broadcast team. I actually felt Frank Martin did a little bit better than people gave him credit for. I don't think Harutyunyan's face was busted up heading into the championship rounds and his body having red welts all over the place. I don't think it was that way because he was winning the fight. I think he looked that way heading into the championship rounds because Frank Martin was landing the better shots throughout. Now, I still think it was a 115, 112 kind of fight. I actually live in the ringside had it 116, 111 Frank Martin. The judges scoring it for the A side a point closer, and everyone in boxing having it closer than that tells me maybe I'm off a little bit, but that's how I scored at ringside, and I have no bias there or anything. I seldom ever do scoring fights, and if I do everything I possibly can to remove that bias and do my job. But I actually thought Frank Martin, it was a little overstated how hard a time. Harutyunyan was doing beautiful things with his right hand, sweeping it to the body, sweeping it up top. He definitely had good success with his right hand against the southpaw, but I thought Frank Martin won that fight either 7-5 or 8-4, and then with the knockdown that leaves no doubt. So, but let me say what's up to a few people in the chat. What's up, Fire in My Bones? How you doing, brother? The Angry Casual fan saying, Sean, anybody picking 7th round knockout for Crawford is just using Vegas odds. Ignore them. Keystog saying, Keystog 19 saying, man, if that's the motivation, he's already lost. It's not the motivation. Motivation is just, guy like Crawford and Spence, the motivation is just always there since they were kids to be great, to be competitive, to make it, to be somebody. So, that is always the deeper motivation, that inner fire that they've been fighting with since they were kids. But saying something about the man's mom, who has been prominent every step of the way in his career, who is famous since the HBO days for dancing ringside when her son wins, who used to famously pay other kids, try to pay him $20 to $50 to kick her son's ass, and they never could. That's gonna, tugging on Superman's cape a little bit. Boxing Fan 95 said Sean wants Crawford to win so bad. Not that I don't want Crawford to win so bad. I just do like to be correct when I'm talking about what I'm talking about, because if I'm going to be a so-called expert who hasn't fought professionally, I had a couple amateur fights, I better pick these fights correctly. So I do want to be correct in my assessments, but it's not some kind of bias for Terence Crawford or dislike towards Errol Spence. I've actually been able to interact more with Errol Spence in the lead up to this fight, and I love the kind of father and son he is. And actually, if I was teaching my son, who sounds like he's about to try and barge into my door, if I was teaching my son how to box, I would have him watch a bunch of Errol Spence and not Terence Crawford, because Errol Spence is so fundamentally sound that a lot of little kids could watch Errol Spence and learn from him and implement from him. The stuff Terence Crawford does at times, like Floyd, is in Pacquiao, these very fast, quick twitch, super talented guys, even though I don't think Crawford's quite as gifted as Floyd or Roy, but he is more gifted than Spence. Those guys you can't study as much because they do certain things you're not going to be able to pull off, even if you work on it. It's a certain God-given talent. And Spence has God-given talent too. Heavy hands, amazing in conditioning and everything, strength, physical strength, and he's not slow, but he's the guy that more ordinary people could learn from. So, no, I got a lot of love for Errol Spence, but I do still have Crawford winning this fight on the 29th. I think Spence is going to get off to a good start. He's got the better jab than Crawford, but Crawford's more dynamic, more creative, can make more adjustments. And as the fight carries on, I expect Crawford to gain momentum and stop Spence late in a great fight that he may even be trailing on, because I do think Spence will get off to that good start. So, but let me get, we got over 400 people in the chat. Let me get to that clip that we've discussed and a few other things. I was looking at Maxie Hughes, who's fighting George Kambosos this Saturday. So Maxie Hughes, domestic level fighter, southpaw. Kambosos, outside of the Teofimo Lopez, hasn't been dominant against top 10-ish, top 15-ish lightweights like Lee Selby and Mickey Bay. So this isn't a walk in the park for Kambosos, but I do think Kambosos will win this fight. But let's take a look here at the clip in question. Fair enough, and that's not that's nothing disrespectful. There's no lines being crossed there, but it was. So Alycia Crawford, the sister of Terence Crawford, had something to say about that. Apparently, let's take a look here. Or did she delete it already? I hope not. Hold on. There it is. So Alycia Crawford, the always boisterous and confident sister of Terence Crawford, said, Derek, now why would you even say anything about Mrs. Crawford? That boy is really about to get hurt now because of your statement, and oh yeah, we will all have our dancing shoes on. So, I've seen the Crawfords ringside, and they definitely turn up, and they definitely love their brother/son. I mean, just like Errol Spence's family does, so, but they are some of the most boisterous people ringside in any fighter's camp. And I know Terence loves his mom, Errol loves his mom, but this will definitely, it's not so much, it's just that you're giving a guy in Terence Crawford who will create his own adversity, create his own narratives as an underdog. He'll grasp for anything, like a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant will do, and this is just a little extra ammunition. Now, however, one way that this could be a good thing for Team Spence is if it makes Crawford exchange early out the gate and not pick Spence apart, not figure him out, take his time, and begin to counterpunch. But if Terence goes in there, high guard, tries to phone booth it, tries to go toe-to-toe with Errol Spence from jump, I don't think that'll go well for him. He prides himself on his deceptive, wiry strength, but I think Errol is just the younger, stronger man. And trying to stand in front of Errol, who's got that great body work, to get away from body shots, you could catch on the elbows, but you got to use your feet a little bit more to get out of the way of body shots. In the pocket, you could get out of the way of headshots with great defense, great catching. In the pocket, you can be slick with the headshots, but the body shots is a little harder to be slick staying in front in the pocket. Some guys, Winky Wright, they're excellent at catching on the elbows. Floyd could do it because he's got one lead hand down there anyways to kind of block that midsection, and then he's so slick up top, everything's going to be fine up there. He doesn't need both hands up. But for the most part, you probably want to get a little bit out of the way of those body shots by taking a step back, things like that. Use your legs at times. And if Derrick James is going to tug on Superman's cape and get Terrence Crawford to bang and fight a little more emotionally early on as opposed to calculating and intelligent, maybe that could actually work in Errol Spence's favor as opposed to, giving a beast in Terrence Crawford that little extra bit of motivation to turn up and make it the best camp of his career at almost 36 years old. So, we'll see. We'll see. It's fun. It's fun build up for the fight. Let me say what's up to a few people in the chat. John Kramer says, I guess we got to smoke Miss Deborah too. Yeah, the Spence fans letting themselves be heard. What's up, Bronco Kid? What's up, Lord Vaughn? Lord Vaughn saying, Bud is so overrated, it's embarrassing. Well, we're about to find out in less than 2 weeks. The Angry Casual fan said, Sean, one-legged Benavidez got to the 12th round, but Spence won't survive? That's a good point. That's a very fair point. How can I pick him to stop? Well, because, Angry Casual fan, after the first 5 rounds, Benavidez began to fade and got a lot less busy. And him being less busy meant Crawford had to get off first. Crawford was a little more light in the ass at welterweight in those days, too. I think he's grown into the division a little bit more. And then Jose Benavidez may have been on one leg, but he was faster than Errol Spence and very tall at 5'10", 5'11", maybe even an inch taller than Errol. So he had a few dimensions that Spence doesn't have. Spence is so much better. I know that. But Benavidez, after the 4th or 5th round, stopped giving Crawford as many counter-punching exchange opportunities. He was really testing Crawford in those first 4 rounds. He was winning the exchanges. Jose Benavidez, whatever he had with that one leg and everything, he left it in the ring that night. Because the guy that fought Danny Garcia isn't half as good as the guy Bud fought. Jose Benavidez, before that leg shooting and everything, he was supposed to be a phenom. And he was a great talent. By the time Bud got him, he had a little bit of momentum built up, but like you said, was on one leg, and that's a fair point. That's a fair point from the Angry Casual fan, that if it took him 12 rounds to get Jose Benavidez, a 140-pounder moving up, who's never been a world champion, it took him 12 rounds, how's he going to get Spence out of there sooner? Well, I just think it's going to be a different type of fight. I don't think in that fight, after 4 rounds, Crawford just kind of took over, and Benavidez began to fade and didn't open up as much. Spence is going to be opening up all 12 rounds, and that's going to be giving him opportunities to dominate, to get off, to punish Crawford. But that's also going to be giving the best counterpuncher in boxing an opportunity every round to find openings. So, but fair comment by Angry Casual fan. I got to say what's up to Blind Faith for the super chat. Said, salute Sean, best year of boxing in decades. Beautiful wars. It has been the best year in boxing in some time. I mean, Inoue and Fulton, I keep going back and forth. I keep giving the edge to Inoue, but that's like a 50-50 fight. Let me get to another super chat I almost missed here. RNS1, how you doing, RNS? RNS1 saying Errol Spence hasn't had a legit knockout since 5 years ago. I think he's referencing Ocampo or Peterson. Sean was a flash knockdown. Only the glove touched the mat. 40-something, 4-loss, 12 knockout Ugas don't count, who beat Old Manny. Right, and Ugas never touched the canvas. Spence isn't a one-punch knockout guy. He's he's an accumulation puncher. He punches hard. He definitely punches hard. I think he's the best puncher Terrence has ever faced. But he's not a snappy, one-punch knockout artist kind of puncher. He's a club you into submission, heavy-handed, country-strong kind of puncher. Terrence is more of that one-punch knockout power. He's not as heavy-handed as Errol, but he's got more of that explosive snap mixture of speed, power at the end of the shot that can hurt a guy and end the fight, begin the end of the fight with one shot. Errol's more club you into submission round after round, and your body physically starts to break. Like he says, he breaks you mentally, physically, damn man, spiritually. You know, he does all three behind that busy jab. And I don't think Errol Spence is just gonna walk in on Bud and try to just get. I think he's gonna fight very long behind his jab. He's gonna really keep his distance behind his jab and not give up anything behind the jab. Not want to walk into anything. I think at times he'll kind of want to do what Bivol did to Canelo. Canelo, like Crawford, shorter guy, although he's got long arms unlike Canelo. But the shorter, more kind of explosive guy looking to be a counterpuncher. And Bivol just not giving him that much to counter, keeping him on the end of his jab, naturally bigger guy, not overextending into anything so the counter comes, just keeping him on the end, taking what's there. And if all that's there is the jab, he's going to throw it 3-4 times and just take it and reset until something else presents itself. And that's kind of what I think Spence, especially early, is going to be doing. Now, if he's having success early, he's going to try and get the ball rolling, take more chances, step it up more and more. But I think Crawford's counters will keep him very honest. So I'm expecting Spence to, you know, he has a different style than Bivol, but just be very, very jab heavy and be very long behind his jab. I don't think especially early he's just going to be dipping in to the body early on. I think he's going to keep everything very long and very active behind a busy, educated jab. And he'll try to give Crawford some of his own medicine. He'll try to make Crawford commit first at times and counter him. He will try to counter the counterpuncher, and Spence can counter, as he showed in the Sean Porter fight. So we'll see. But thank you for the super chat, RNS1. Damn, we got almost 600 people in here. It is lit today on Fight Hype Live. RNS1 saying 12 knockout Ugas rocked Errol Spence in a couple times. He did rock him a couple times. And a southpaw from early in Spence's career. I can't remember the fella's name. This is when Spence, before he fought Brook, before he was a champion, he fought a tall southpaw. I feel like it was a Caribbean fighter, you know, maybe a Dominican, Cuban, someone, you know, from one of those countries. And he was a southpaw, and he buzzed Errol Spence with a left hand. So, yeah, Spence has never been down to my eyes, but I think both guys are vulnerable when it comes to their punch resistance. I think neither guy is chinny. Crawford's punch resistance gives me a little pause, because whenever he gets hit with a good shot, his legs react and his head snaps. And then after those moments, he tightens everything up on offense and on defense and takes over after shaky moments early in his fights. There's no reason not to think he won't have shaky moments early against Errol. If he's having shaky moments against Mean Machine and Benavidez and Porter, it stands to reason Errol will probably give him a shaky moment early in the fight. The question is, can Errol make that a more significant shaky moment than other guys? Can he get a knockdown? Can he gain the respect and fear of Crawford in a way that, because that respect and fear slows down that wonderful ring IQ he has, makes him a little more timid, a little more hesitant, and that counterpunching prowess slows down a little bit. And, you know, while he's, you know, so Errol, I think, doesn't need to just win the early rounds, but he's got to make an impression on Crawford in the early rounds, because if you just win the early rounds, he's used to that. It's nothing new to him being down 20-18, 30-27, 39-37 after 2, 3, 4 rounds. But both guys are a little chinny. Not chinny. I don't think either guy has a granite chin. I think they both have solid chins, obviously. Neither one's ever been down. I know a lot of people felt like Bud went down against Mean Machine, but, you know, he clinches, and then 2 seconds later goes to his knee. Referee doesn't call it. He doesn't call it. But I that's part of what makes this fight more exciting, too, is I think both guys can be stopped. I don't think either guy... This isn't like Canelo and Golovkin, where it's these two just granite chin guys. And I actually think, you know, certainly fights 1 and 3, which weren't all that, of Canelo Golovkin, this will be a better fight. Now, fight number 2 between Canelo and Golovkin, that's the kind of fight we're hoping from Spence and Crawford, and I think it's the kind of fight we're going to get. And a lot of people that really know the sport that I talk to think it's going to end in a decision. And if it ends in a decision, I feel like that's Errol Spence, because he's the busier guy behind his jab, and he's the A side. You know, PBC's, you know, being smart, being tight-lipped about it, but I feel that their option A is for Spence to beat Crawford and for him to get Canelo. I feel like they would rather that scenario than even Benavidez getting Canelo next. So there's a lot of money at stake on the Errol Spence side. He's not going on 36 like Crawford. He's been on multiple pay-per-views. He can sell out Cowboy Stadium against the Canelo. Crawford cannot. So there's a lot more money riding on Errol Spence in the business side of things, to where if it's a competitive fight, I just don't think Crawford can win a decision in this fight. If it's competitive, he could win a decision if he clearly wins the fight. 116, 112, 117, 111, but a 115, 113 for Crawford ain't going to get it done in this fight. And I hope and think he knows that. It's something we'll have to ask him Wednesday. We get to see Crawford and Spence Wednesday and Thursday. They have their media days here in Las Vegas, back to back. So that's something I'll have to ask him. I'll have to ask him about his legs, if his legs have slowed down at almost 36. I'll ask him about his punch resistance that Tank Davis says is going to be the key to this fight for Errol. Says Errol Spence has a metal shield and Terrence Crawford has a glass shield, talking about their punch resistance. So, we'll see. Another super chat I got to get to real quick. Let me see here. Hold on. All right. So from Karate Body, thank you for the super chat, brother. He said, I'm importing all you Spence man fans to bet your money since you're so confident. Those bet lines aren't indicative of your false confidence. And what Karate Body is talking about, I was talking to Sean King, my man Sean Porter. It was his son's birthday over the weekend. So I went to the birthday party. My son had a great time playing with them on the water slide. Sean King, former quarterback for the Buccaneers. He started for the Buccaneers in the 1999 NFC Championship game. Loves boxing. And Sean follows the betting lines, and he's telling me, bro, did you see Crawford went from minus 115, minus 120? He's all the way up to minus 170, minus 180 now. He said, bro, the reason why that is the sharks, the big bettors, are putting the smart money on Crawford heading into fight week. So I think that's what Karate Body's getting at. For all you Spence fans that are so confident, the line keeps moving further to Crawford, which means people putting their money where their mouth is more the Crawford people than the Spence people, is what I think. Karate Body, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you're getting at, brother. Here it is. RNS1, thank you for the super chat again, saying ropes kept Errol Spence up when Ugas rocked him. Yeah, which equals a knockdown, right? If the ropes hold you up. But then again, RNS1, he got knocked so off. I could have seen it been a situation where if there was more space and ring, he may have just continued off balance further and further until steadying himself. I'm not 100% sure he just went right into the canvas. So we've seen guys, Caleb Plant, before he eventually went down against Canelo, the beginning of the end, he sprinted, did a jog across the whole ring. So, I'm not convinced that Errol would have necessarily went down if the ropes weren't there. He might have had a moment where he careened from one end of the ring to the other. But he was certainly hurt, and the ropes helped. We'll never know. And Ugas, that was kind of off of a sequence of punches off a counter. People think it was Spence just spitting out his mouthpiece and then he got hit with the right hand. No, Ugas was working on the inside, touching him with a right uppercut, touched him with another shot. Then Spence getting out of the pocket, pulls out of the pocket, kind of pulls straight back, and thump, that's when he eats the right hand that sends him into the ropes. And then Ugas admired his work. Ugas would admire his work way too much against Spence. He would land a nice little right hand, do a shot, and then he would admire his work like he did against an old Pacquiao. And Spence, took his shit like nothing and then just started coming right back, 2, 3, 4, 5, body, head, jab, 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 and just, beat the hell out of Ugas, who was, very game, but didn't offer the punching power, the angles, the hand speed, and the foot movement of Terrence Crawford. But Crawford was fighting someone, levels below Ugas against Avanesian, his last fight, and he got hit with a right hand in round 1 that made his legs act a little funny for a second. So both guys are vulnerable, and that's what's going to make it an exciting fight. I definitely think both guys are going to get hurt in this fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford goes down early in the fight and then picks himself up, makes adjustments, and stops Spence late. I'm kind of expecting that. That's a lot to expect in a big fight. That would mean it's an all-time great fight. And a lot of times these fights we think were going to be all-time great fights, especially after the year 2000 or so. They don't pan out to be that. But I think when you look at the fact that one guy's a master counterpuncher, the other guy's a master pressure fighter whose punch count goes... One guy, all he wants to do once he gets into a rhythm is counter and win the exchanges in Crawford. The other guy, all he wants to do once he gets into a rhythm is get off first and beat your ass. And then both guys have good chins to where they're not just going to go down on the first hard shot, but both have vulnerable enough chins that they could both be hurt and stopped in the fight. You add all that up, and it's a fight that's going to live up to the hype, I think, in 2 weeks. So I look forward to covering it, that's for sure. I got a super chat from my man Blind Faith. We're at almost 750 people in the live. This is awesome. Blind Faith said, outside of this fight and Inoue Fulton, what 5 fights are you most excited to watch, even if it's not actually made yet? Which 5 fighters will be households in the next 5 years? Ooh, that's tough to say. 5 fights that aren't made yet that I would love to see is, Boots. Boots is one of those guys in the five fighters. Boots is going to be up there. Lightweight just has so many guys between Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn Davis. Andy Cruz made his pro debut over the weekend. Good performance by Andy Cruz. Not spectacular, but he's fighting a veteran who's fought and went the distance with Mikey Garcia and Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis. So Andy Cruz took on a very tough opponent in his first pro fight. Doesn't look like he's really a puncher with heavy hands, Andy Cruz. We know he's fast. He is fast. What I liked about Andy Cruz, he kept his hands up and kept everything tight. He didn't go to his amateur bag of tricks. First round, kept things tight, tried to fight on the inside, fought well on the inside. He did a lot of things he didn't do in the amateurs, and that tells me he knows what the transition in style and in technique is going to have to be done. He wasn't just landing pop shots and then pulling straight out with his chin up, putting his glove up in the air to say, hey, judges, I landed the pop shot like he does in the amateurs. He was keeping things more fundamentally tight, was Andy Cruz, and that's something we didn't see from him in the amateurs. He fought off his athleticism, his great speed and movement, and would leave his chin up in the air, and he didn't do that. He had his chin tucked and his hands up and fought behind a jab and didn't style a whole lot. He kept things pretty tight. And I think as Andy Cruz gets more comfortable, that's when you'll start to see that style and that sauce that made him the best amateur in Olympic boxing start to come out. But I like that he's settled down as a pro in his first fight and tried to kind of do some of the professional basics with the hands up, fighting on the inside, trying at times to sit down on punches and using the jab a lot. So Andy Cruz, he'll be a problem. He's a 2-time gold medalist. Special talent from the amateurs, not a puncher, and he's coming up in the division, the deepest division in the sport at lightweight. So can he become the king? I don't know. There's a lot of young kings running around that division right now. It's a crowded room, but he's definitely going to be one of the names in that room, Andy Cruz. But for fights that haven't been made, I want to see Teofimo and Devin Haney, because I would love to see Devin Haney and Tank, but I don't want to see a less than 100% Devin Haney draining down to 135. If he was 100% at 135, then Tank and Devin clearly takes precedence over Devin and Teo. But if Devin is really a 140 pounder these days, go up to 140. Let's see that Teofimo fight. Another one, I was looking forward to Tramel and Tim Tszyu, but that got taken off. Usyk and Fury, but Fury's busy getting his money against Ngannou, and a lot of people are mad at him about it. I'm not as mad. I'm not there yet with Fury. I'm not there yet. Let him duck Usyk another year, and I'll be there. I'm just not there with him yet. But which 5 fighters will be households in the next 5 years? Keyshawn Davis, Jaron Ennis. I got to come back to that, Blind Faith. It's a little tough off top the head. But those 2 for sure. Jaron Ennis and Keyshawn Davis. I like David Morrell. Jamal Harvey. Jamal Harvey isn't even a professional right now, but Jamal Harvey in the USA Olympic team. Be on the lookout for him, Blind Faith. Jamal Harvey. I love Abdullah Mason. So, yeah. So, few things got to get to here now, and that is to keep things a little fair.
Good ass fighter.
We will show when.
It's just another nobody that I ain't fought.
Somewhere between your
We'll
first
go ahead and
third
show when
breath,
Terrence
you become
addressed
one with the air.
Errol's father.
He's not going to want to break. I'm definitely.
Ain't no holding me back.
Is a man who's got
Look at that, look. That's why I zoomed in, chat.
Knockout percentage. Moved up to
Chat, the eyes don't. That's a serious fucking man, chat. Whether you like Crawford, whether you like Spence, you can't deny me. That's a bad man. That's that 1970s, 1980s black man fighter look right there. I wouldn't mess with that right there. That's just me.
welterweight. You heard it. He has stopped every man he has faced since he's been at 147. Folks, this man is the former.
That's the fucking
Undisputed
Jules from Pulp Fiction
super
face right
lightweight
there.
champion of the world.
Drake Bell says, Creed, indeed, it is me.
Fighter of the year.
Nickelodeon didn't extend the contract.
WBO.
They said I was too old, so here I am covering boxing now. Drake Bell in the flesh. I know you loved me for your childhood. Don't hate.
That's what I'm talking about. I gotta come often. And this doesn't matter. We're here now. In July 28th, the Alis, the Fraziers, y'all can sit there and say, oh, well, Harry Rose, and I'm the new undisputed welterweight champion of the world.
Now, man, come on.
And I think he went to Russia and beat him. And I think he went to Scotland and beat him. Then
Come on, man.
he tried to be great and come to Omaha and beat me. He beat Troyanowski and he beat Ru-
Knock him down every time. You know,
I'm already reeling him in.
Yeah,
July 29th.
Here it is.
they have a submarine.
I'm gonna put him on the bank. I'm gonna put him on the bank. I'm gonna gut him and I'm gonna fillet him.
You
Like
can
I
have a
said.
submarine.
All right. We gonna catch him. Well, matter of fact, we already caught him. We just reeling him in right now. And July 29th, that's when we're gonna get him to the bank. Probably weigh him, you know, put him on the scale.
You ain't got skill, bitch.
Chop his head off. Cut him from, you know, the gut, the little butt up.
I thought this was good trash talk.
You know what I mean? Take the little vice
But
grips, pull the skin.
Errol had an underrated line right
Take the
here.
little knife.
You don't even sound.
That was my favorite Errol Spence line, chat. I know that's a sleeper. He just said that in his little Texas drawl. That don't even sound good. And I'm laughing because I don't know how to cook, and Crawford and Spence really do know how to cook. So Crawford's talking about fish it, fillet it, do all this, and I'm thinking, oh man, he's in his bag. Like he's really talking. He's really being descriptive. Errol Spence from the country, who probably actually does know how to cook fish, just so subtly, slyly says that don't even sound good. And I just thought that was funny. That was low key my favorite Errol Spence line.
Take the little knife.
You don't even sound.
That don't even sound good.
Let me ask you
It's
this.
good.
Let me ask you
Y'all like fish? How many of y'all like fish? I love fish. I bet your pops like fish too. You like fish, don't you, pops? Come
So
on,
there-
you
yeah.
say you like fish. You know what I mean? Your son a big fish, so he love fish too. You know?
No, I'm Jamaican. I smoke.
We gon'
No, we're Jamaican. Let's smoke
we
bud.
gonna give his pops.
Yeah, hey, yeah. We Jamaican, man. We smoke bud.
Good counter punch by Errol Spence. Counter punching the counter puncher, like he will do at times in July 29th.
We gonna roll you up and smoke you up too, man. Hey, y'all get that new bud strain.
But you know the crazy
The new
part?
Bud strain. You should do that, Errol. Errol's really good with the marketing stuff and with the t-shirts. I would buy and smoke a Errol Spence licensed Terrence Bud Crawford Sativa Indica hybrid strain. I'm down, Errol. Do it.
You know what I mean? Y'all do smoke bud in Jamaica. I forgot. But this
That
ain't
new
that.
bud
This
strain.
ain't no bud. This ain't no kind bud. You
Oh,
feel
and then
me?
the counter puncher coming back with the counter. He got countered, but then came back with a counter. Crawford trying to punctuate the exchange here, and he is the best at punctuating the exchange in the ring.
Dated bud that you hit one puff, you might be seeing stars like how high.
I'm trying to smoke that.
Just know.
Cheers, man.
That sounds good. Anyway, so yeah, just to keep it fair, man, not to victimize Terrence Crawford, the man with Errol's father in the front row talked about, would you like to eat your son? You know, metaphorically speaking. But I got a super chat I got to get to. I got two of them I got to get to here. Who at 140 right now could come up and challenge Boots? Ooh. No one. Off top, no one. None of them have the physicality. Boots is a big welterweight who's going to be a big... he's going to be able to be a probably 160 pounder one day comfortably. And Molly Mall, shout out Molly Mall, much love, brother. The top 140 pounders are mostly guys who are lightweights coming up. So it's not a whole lot. The 140 pound divisions sometimes is filled with young welterweights who haven't moved up to welterweight yet. And right now it's more populated by talented lightweights that have moved up in weight, like T.O., like Rolly, Devon's incoming. You know, so I don't think anybody at 140 right now is really a big threat to Boots, Molly Mall. But let me get to them super chats before I miss it. Got two of them. First from... Excuse me, man. My bad. First from Hakeem Steels. Thank you, Hakeem Steels. Lakers fan, too. So I got some love for the Lakers. I'm a Knicks fan, but growing up out here in Las Vegas a lot of my life, I definitely watched the three-peat Lakers. So shout out Hakeem Steels. Hakeem said, I have no dog in this fight. I'm just happy we're finally getting it. But I'm leaning towards Bud Crawford. I tend to be biased towards twitchier fighters, but also because Spence gets hit with more flush shots, in my opinion. Crawford gets hit flush, too. He's been getting hit with right hands a lot. He's not fighting a southpaw or orthodox fighter. The southpaw killer, that right hand from the orthodox stance, that's been the shot Bud keeps getting hit with by Jose Benavidez, even going back to Gamboa 10 years ago, against Mean Machine, against Avanesian in the first round. The right hand, that southpaw killer, is giving Bud some fits. But Spence can get hit from both hands. I've seen Spence hit with right hands from left hooks. One thing I love about Spence, though, is usually when it's southpaw versus orthodox, they cancel out each other's jabs and kind of fence with the lead hand, cancel it out. But Spence knows how to jab over an orthodox fighter's lead hand and be dominant with it. So when Crawford switches southpaw versus southpaw, I think Spence's jab will be an issue. And then when Crawford tries to fight orthodox, Spence is great at jabbing over the top of that. But to your point about Spence getting hit more with flush shots, they've both had their moments where I've seen their chin up and their head get snapped and their legs react. They both have had their moments. So, but I agree with you definitely. Not only do I agree with you, Hakeem, that Crawford's the twitchier, faster, more athletic fighter, but Derek James and Errol Spence agree with that too. That's what Errol's getting at when he says that Terrence is Kevin Garnett and he's Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, better career than Kevin Garnett, beat him head-to-head, but he can't jump like Kevin Garnett. He didn't have Kevin Garnett's flexibility, all the athleticism. You know, Kevin Garnett could move like a guard at 6'11". Terrence Crawford is, still, even at 35, almost 36, got some of the fastest hands in boxing. So, I'm good stuff, Hakeem Steels. I appreciate it, brother. And shout out to your Lakers, too, for keeping Hachimura, Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell keeping themselves as a contender in the offseason. So shout out, Hakeem. Thank you, brother. Jim the Boxing Life. Always good to see you, Jim the Boxing Life. Good to see you in the chat. Jim the Boxing Life with the super chat saying, Andy Cruz showed his experience this weekend. Frank Martin did good. Any top fighters at 135 will have problems with Artem because of style, other than Tank because of his power. Keyshawn might not even beat Artem Harutyunyan. I disagree with that, Jim. I think Keyshawn would beat Artem Harutyunyan. Keyshawn has a offensive arsenal that is growing and expanding and becoming prolific. And he's a A-tier athlete. He's got those fast hands and good pop in both hands. And Keyshawn is a good combination puncher and a good body puncher. And Frank Martin did his best when he went to the body and threw combinations. He didn't do that enough. He admitted that himself after the fight. I actually still liked Frank. I like Frank Martin. I still saw a guy who had an uneven performance, who struggled more than he was expected to, who didn't get the stoppage that he promised, but still checked a lot of boxes watching him up close. He's still fast. He still has footwork. He still has defense, and he's still strong and can punch good. He's still, not a knockout artist, but he could punch. And then he showed the flashes of combination punching and explosiveness. It's just that he still looked like my man Ron Goodall, my teammate Ron Goodall told me ringside watching the fight, he's still learning on the job. He started at 18 years old. That's going to catch up with him. That's why he would be an underdog against someone like a Devin Haney who's been boxing since he was 6, 7, 8 years old, not since 18 years old like Frank Martin. But Frank Martin, all I could say is he's not an easy night for any lightweight. Now, the way he was getting hit with right hands, someone like Devin Haney was probably licking his chops. Devin's very creative and could do even more with his right hand than Artem did. And then he's got the jab and the length and the footwork and all these other dimensions Artem doesn't. So, you know, I do think he's definitely an underdog against Shakur Stevenson. He's an underdog against Tank. He's an underdog against Devin. He's an underdog against Lomachenko if they ever fought. But I think he's number 5. I think after Haney, Davis, Stevenson, Lomachenko, I think Frank Martin's number 5. I think he beats Esau Cruz. Keyshawn Davis is still in his... They're not at the same stage of their pro careers just now. I think Keyshawn definitely has more upside than Frank, but that would be a tough fight for Keyshawn at only 8 fights into it, still growing into himself. So, and then as for Andy Cruz, Jim, the boxing life, Andy Cruz, I liked his performance, didn't love it. Doesn't have heavy hands, doesn't look like a great puncher, but what I did like, he was trying to keep it fundamentally sound and tight. Shout out to Bozy Ennis, the father of Boots Ennis, showing that he can work with more fighters than just his son. He had Andy Cruz fighting in a style I never saw Andy Cruz fighting in the amateurs, more textbook, hands up. And I like that from Andy Cruz because that's exactly what he needs to work on if he's going to become the fighter he is in the amateurs and the pros. But I think as Andy Cruz gets comfortable in there, it was his credit to him for fighting a veteran like Burgos who's fought the best in his first pro fight in a 10-rounder. Props to Cruz for that, and he won every round. But I do think as he settles down, as he gets more comfortable, you'll start to see the flash, the Cubano flash that made him a 2-time gold medalist. Right now he's working on the foundation, on the hands up and the sitting down in the pros, learning to fight on the inside more instead of just being on the outside in the amateurs. But I think as he settles down into that and gets comfortable as a pro, you're going to start to see that flash that made him famous in the amateurs show up in the pros. It's just you're not going to see it in the first fight or two when he has to be cautious against real pros because he's moving himself extremely fast. I would have liked to put him in there against a no-hoper so he could have razzled and dazzled and got a stoppage. But he, props to him fighting Burgos in that first fight. I don't think Artem would have beaten Keyshawn though. So, but thank you, Jim Boxing Life, so much, brother. Let me see. I got another super chat I got to get to from 7-8 Sports TV. What's up, 7-8 Sports TV? Good to have you in the super chat. 7-8 Sports TV. A lot of us know him from the Deontay Wilder exclusives. Deontay wasn't talking to media, but he was talking to 7-8, and that's where we got to see that's where we got to hear from the Bronze Bomber during that time. So shout out 7-8 and 7-8. With the super chat saying, what's up, man? I got Errol, 115, 112, or 13, meaning if he sounds like you think he might get a knockdown along the way. And the Milwaukee Bucks will win the title this season, hashtag LDBC Lions Den Boxing Community. Man, the Milwaukee Bucks winning the title. I mean, anytime you got Giannis Antetokounmpo, who along with Jokic is the best player in the NBA, I mean, it's real close between the two of them. I don't even watch 82 games to have the authority to say who's better, Jokic or Giannis. But the Bucks, they're aging a little bit. Didn't they lose Brook Lopez? They lost Brook Lopez, right? I think they may have lost Brook Lopez. I got to check. Maybe I'm tripping. I think they may have lost Brook Lopez. That's a big subtraction. Chris Middleton is getting older. He hasn't looked like the dude that had that big game, what was it, game 6 or 7 in the finals when they won 2 years ago against Phoenix. Chris Middleton looks like he's slowing down a little bit. Drew Holiday's great. But I think they lost Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton's slowing down a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know. Giannis's days in Milwaukee might be numbered. We'll see. I would love the Knicks to get Giannis. I want the Knicks to get Zion. I want the Knicks to take a chance. Zion Williamson, who's always wanted to be a Knick and play in the Garden with his trade value at an all-time low, forget Karl Anthony Towns or Damian Lillard or James Harden. Let's take a chance on Zion, man. Bring him to the Garden. But 7-8, thank you for the super chat. He's got Errol 115, 112, or 13. You know I got Crawford, but I think I could see Errol ahead by the time Crawford gets the win late in the late stoppage. I could see Spence having a lead built up from having a really good start to the fight. We'll see 7-8, but good to have you in the chat, brother. Thank you. 7-8 said, what you know about them cool grays in the back? Thank you again, brother, for the super chat. Yeah, the cool grays and the black cats. And we've done this before on the chat. I won't digress completely, but got the Barclays off camera, the Gamma. These are my favorites right here. This is probably my favorite, maybe my favorite Jordan ever. Just the Gamma. You can't beat the neon blue. Hold on. I got little Jubilees. These gotta get cleaned, but I got some J's. Thank you, 7A Sports TV. 7A Sports TV makes a lot of he's making good money in his super chat, so he didn't mind throwing us a few bones in the live. Thank you, 7A Sports. Appreciate it, brother. And will I be seeing you fight week? Will you be in the building for Spence Crawford fight week 7-8? You don't gotta drop a super chat. I'll pay attention in the chat to see your reply. Blind Faith, thank you for the super chat. Said if Devin wants Tank or Tio, is King Crocodile Shakur? I don't know where you get that nickname from. King Crocodile Shakur versus Lomachenko next. It might be. Lomachenko is hoping that, because I think Loma's fight with Devin exceeded expectations at the box office a little bit. They sold that bitch out at the MGM, and their pay-per-view numbers didn't set the world on fire, but they probably did a little bit better than even Top Rank was hoping. So I think right now Loma's just hoping that Arum ponies up a really enticing offer to Haney to get him back. He just wants that Haney rematch. He doesn't really want Shakur right now. So, but it could still happen, because I don't think he's going to get Haney, because my sources tell me, this is, can't reveal my sources, but our sources here at FightHype tell us that this isn't confirmed. This is just sources, not confirmed by Top Rank, by anybody, but I've heard from people close to the situation that Arum isn't confident that Haney's going to come back to Top Rank. Based on some recent conversations people that I know have had with Arum. And I'll leave it at that. I'm hoping that's not the case, because I think the Top Rank route makes the most sense for Haney. If Haney could make lightweight comfortably and be 100%, then the PBC Tank Davis route makes the most sense. But since he probably can't anymore and he's really a 140-pounder, then stay with Top Rank and make the Teofimo Lopez fight. And sources close to the situation tell FightHype that Arum is not confident that he will be re-signing Devin Haney. So we'll see how that goes down. And then JoJo versus Andy and Frank versus Esau Cruz. JoJo versus Andy Cruz. I got Andy Cruz. JoJo Diaz has seen better days. He's seen better days. Hasn't really impressed me since he gave Devin Haney a run for a tough fight in December of 21. He slowed down. He's not fighting at the weight class that he really belongs at. He started at featherweight. Andy Cruz, even with a huge lack of pro experience, I think would still beat JoJo right now. Now, JoJo firing on all cylinders like he did against Haney. In shape, motivated, prepared, fighting on all, in rhythm. I think it would be a very tough fight for Andy Cruz, because he's JoJo's going to keep it tight, get low underneath, and apply intelligent pressure and touch that body. So even and Cruz got touched to the body in the last 10 seconds against Burgos when he stood still on the ropes. Burgos, I think, got his attention with a body shot a little bit, but JoJo has seen better days. He hasn't been impressive lately. I think Andy Cruz would beat him by decision, handily. And then Esau Cruz versus Frank Martin. I got Frank Martin all day. Esau Cruz is no slouch. He's fast. We don't think of Esau Cruz as fast because he's a come-forward Mexican fighter, but he is fast. When he lets that lead left hook go and puts them together to the body and to the head, he's fast and snappy and explosive. Got some power for sure. Little mini Mexican Mike Tyson as he goes by. But I think he's walking into too much sharpshooting from Frank Martin, who can pivot off, who can move, who can punch with both hands. Now Frank is going to have to come more correct than he did for Artem. If Frank shows up a little flat and uneven like he did against Artem, Cruz would have beaten Frank Martin probably last Saturday, because Frank admitted he was a little bit off with his timing, with the openings, all of that. But I think the Frank Martin I saw against Michel Rivera would take care of Isaac Cruz. Be a very good fight, very exciting fight. But I think Martin is just the more athletic fighter, the more well-rounded fighter. He's a big, strong lightweight. He's got the power to get Cruz's respect. Cruz, though, I do give Cruz. Cruz is underrated in a couple of ways. Like I said, he's actually fast. Come forward Mexican fighter, so you don't think speed. And then he tucks his chin. He's one of the best in the sport at tucking his chin. I'm not saying he's got one of the best all-around defenses, but keeping your chin tucked like they teach you as a youngster, he does that at an elite level. But I would favor Frank Martin. More all-around talent and skills. And then he's a big guy, too. I got a super chat from my man, The Necessary Podcast. Capital on Ness, so maybe my man's name is Nestor. The Necessary Podcast said that, I believe that despite Bud being smaller, he's better on the outside. However, inside, EJ is far better to me. Mid-range is where the fight will be. I like Crawford mid-range. Long range, it'll be interesting for Crawford because Spence is just as long as him, and he's got the better jab. So long range, I think early on, long range is going to favor Spence because he has the better jab and he gets off first early in the fight. He gets off to he's a better starter than Crawford is. I think early on Spence will have the advantage at long range actually, and I think Crawford will be on the outside losing early behind Spence's jab and activity, and he's just going to try to dissect Spence and find the openings, find the angles to take, and then I think he'll start to have an advantage on the outside. They're both going to want to touch something, so they're going to exchange, and those exchanges will be at mid-range, like you said. And I mid-range, so Necessary Podcast sounds like you're saying it's Errol's fight on the inside, it's Bud's fight on the outside, it's what happens in that mid-range that'll decide the fight. If that's the case, I like Crawford. I think Crawford at mid-range in the exchanges has more to pull from. He's more creative and dynamic. Spence gets a little bit more predictable with his combinations, his setups. You know it's going to jab, jab, straight left hand to the body, jab, jab, straight left hand to the body, hook to the body, hook to the body, jab, jab, sweeping left hand, jab, jab, straight left hand, jab, jab, sweeping left hand up top, jab, jab, body, body. But over time, it's predictable. Crawford gets, as the fight catches on, moves on, and he gets in rhythm, he becomes very unpredictable with his punch selection. You don't know when it's the uppercut, you don't know when you're getting checked by a hook, or he's hooking off the jab, or he's touching that body to lower your eyes to set up something quick and snapping up top. He's a little more creative and dynamic than Spence there, a little less predictable. So, but thank you Necessary Podcast for the super chat, brother. Let me see here. Let me see here. When are you going to interview Thurman? I would love to. I got to get in touch with his publicist, Hannah. That's a good, thanks for reminding me. All right, Blind Faith with the monster super chat, with the $20 super chat. Blind Faith is balling. He's like Jim Jones and Dipset in 2007, but I didn't even like that song. But it was a thing. It was a thing. God damn it. 10th grade year. That's all anybody was sing. Ballin'! And Blind Faith is ballin'. So Blind Faith saying in the super chat, I've been calling Shakur King Crocodile because his smiles are devilish when in smoke mode. Face Off with Joette really reminded me of a King Crocodile smiles at other crocodiles in deep waters when fighting for food or females. Ooh, damn, getting deep with it, Blind Faith. Let's look up a King Crocodile smile. Hold on, chat. Let's add some some illustration to what Blind Faith said there. King Crocodile Smile. Oh, I see. Ah. Yeah, that motherfucker's grinning. I know exactly what smile you're talking about. Hold on. Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney contract. Does anyone have that image of Shakur smiling when he sent over the bottle at Devin? Maybe Twitter will have it. Hold on. Shakur signed the contract. Probably right here. Yeah. Right here. Yeah, I get what you're getting at, Blind Faith. You got that licking his chops, King Crocodile smile. He does smile like that a little bit. He does. Good call. I think there was a few other things we were going to have to look at for today's live. But yeah, for Keyshawn Davis, Francesco Patera, he's going to stop him, I think. I think he's going to stop Patera. Patera mostly fights in Belgium. I believe has been stopped before. No, he hasn't. No, it was Ivan Mendy beat him. Edis Tati, who fought for the IBF title a couple years back, beat him. But this guy's never been stopped. I don't love that Keyshawn, one thing I was worried about Keyshawn coming out of the Olympics, the reason why that gold medal fight got away from him, well, that's not Keyshawn Davis. One reason that gold medal match against Cruz got away from him, he waited a little bit too much. He hurt Cruz in the second round with a right hand. And, Cruz is tough to hit. So, I don't want to make it sound like it's as simple as just turning it up against a slick guy like Cruz. But Keyshawn, coming up in the post-Mayweather era where Floyd's influence is so big in every young American fighter that it makes him... For someone like him, it almost places too much of an emphasis on being a thinking man's fighter. Be a thinking man's fighter is wonderful no matter what your style is. Aggressive, front foot, back foot, whatever it is, you got to be smart to be an elite fighter. And that's great about Keyshawn, that he's high IQ instincts and all that. But I don't think he should try to ever fight like Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney. Unless he's facing a really aggressive fighter like an Esau Cruz, then he could play that role against that kind of style. But I think Keyshawn, he'll get the most out of his potential being a little bit more on the front foot than on the back foot. And he's been doing that lately. And he's been putting combinations together, putting a good output out on the front foot, throwing combinations. And he told me in an interview, we haven't put it up yet, but he told me in an interview that now that he knows he's got 10 rounds again, he can slow things down a little bit. And I get what he means by that, but I don't like Keyshawn Davis being too patient. I feel like that's part of why the gold medal match with Cruz got away from him. I like him better, for the most part, on the front foot, being slick on the front foot, being slick, having that shoulder roll sometimes on the front foot and everything. Be slick, be smart. Don't give up nothing for free, but get in there. Be on the front foot. Get in that pocket more. Get in that pocket. Not all the time, but get in that pocket a healthy number of times throughout the fight and beat that ass. You're not Shakur or Devin. You're not a pure boxer. I think you're a little bit better suited in the pocket. And Shakur's good in the pocket and Devin's good in the pocket too, but their bread and butter will always be putting their jab on you and outboxing you. And I think Keyshawn, he could do that very well himself, but I think he's best suited, his attributes, his gifts, to being in that pocket a little bit more often. And he's been doing that lately. I like Keyshawn. How could you not? So, Alycia Eric Osai said, bomb show. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. It is just me blabbing, so I know it could get a little dry. I wish we had the copyrights so that I could go over all the highlights and everything, but, DAZN, Showtime, they may not be, like here's DAZN right now. I had the fights pulled up, but can't show them. So, All right, chat. What do I got to touch on? We touched on Andy Cruz. We touched on... All right, quickly, chat. Maxie Hughes taking on George Kambosos. This guy got some momentum. He hasn't lost in almost 4 years. But Martin Ward beat him twice. And I was at Martin Ward's fight on the undercard of Haney and Linares when he got stopped against Azinga Fuzili from Africa. And then Azinga, he wound up losing recently at... Anyway, these are all domestic level fighters. And they're not elite level fighters. And I think that George Kambosos will beat Maxie Hughes, but he is a southpaw. And George Kambosos, outside of the Teofimo Lopez fight, hasn't truly proven to us that he's levels above the Commonwealth domestic level. So this could very well be a very competitive fight with Maxie Hughes. He's got some momentum. He's a southpaw. I think Kambosos will win the fight. I think Kambosos is a little bit more dynamic and talented than him, a little faster. Got that a little bit more pop in that right hand. That's his shot, the one that dropped Tio in round 1. So I expect Kambosos to win, but he's got to prove to us it's not enough for him to just beat Maxie Hughes. He's got to prove to us that he's not a one-hit wonder, that he's actually on the tier level of Frank Martin, Lomachenko, Shakur, Tank, Devin, and then even the Isak Cruzes of the world and the up-and-comers like Keyshawn and now Andy Cruz. You know, he's got to show us that he is levels above a domestic level fighter and that the Teofimo Lopez fight wasn't a fluke and it wasn't just him on his best night against Teofimo on his worst night. So I'll be in Oklahoma actually for the fight. I told George I'd come. George was nice enough to do a Z-Cap with us the week of Tank and Ryan's fight week, or Haney and Lomachenko's fight week. So I said, George, I'll be at the fight. So I'm a man of my word. I'll be flying out Saturday morning and coming back Sunday morning for that fight. So there's that. And then I think I got someone was asking me again about Fulton and Inoue. It's such a, man, I am really, I mean, we'll have a whole live dedicated to that fight, a whole breakdown. I've been going back and forth. I always wind up giving the slightest of edges to Inoue because Fulton's really good. He's an elite fighter, but I don't know if there's anything special about Fulton. He's just extremely well-rounded. He has great conditioning. He can throw a lot of punches. He's accurate, smart, fast, good defense, good legs. And then even though he's not a puncher, which is kind of his one weakness, he doesn't really have really punching power, but he's got Philly grit. He'll outfight a puncher in the pocket, like Brandon Figueroa, like even Angelo Leo, who could really fight on the inside, and he outfought them at times on the inside, in addition to being the better boxer on the outside. So Fulton is a complete elite fighter. And, you know, that's why if Inoue beats Fulton, I've seen enough. He's a great fighter. If Inoue beats Fulton, he's special. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame. I've seen enough. He could lose fights after that, and it won't mean much to me. If he beats Stephen Fulton, who is a complete fighter and is the naturally bigger man, then I'll have seen enough from Inoue to say, yeah, he's special. He's a great fighter. And that's part of why I do favor him. It doesn't hurt that he's fighting at home, but he's just a little more special than Fulton. Fulton's very good, very smart, very good, but Inoue, his dimensions of power and balance and explosiveness and sharpness and accuracy combined together is special. It's not just good or really good or elite. His combination of balance, power, explosiveness, and accuracy is special. So I give the edge to Inoue at home. But Paul Butler, man, he didn't cut the ring off against Paul Butler, and Paul Butler was piecing him up. And it took him 11 rounds to get to Paul Butler, and he couldn't cut the ring off against Paul Butler. Now, so that gives me pause. And then he leaves his chin up sometimes, Inoue. And then as explosive and as fast as he is, sometimes those shots are a little wide just by the nature of how he's trying to punch. He wants to get everything into every shot. He he throws his body weight into every punch. Someone like Stephen Fulton changed the speeds on it a little, take a little something off. Ping, ping. You know, he'll take, and that's going to, Inouye's never seen nothing like that. He's never fought a talented, athletic, slick, smart, tough, black American fighter. So he's going to have to solve problems in there he's never had to solve before. He's going to be getting countered in between those wide power shots at times. But he's going to have to be a dog and have grit in a way. He's going to have to walk through some counters. His face is going to be touched up and marked up. But if he can continue to stay on top of Fulton, walk through his shots, get him to the ropes like Figueroa was able to, like Danny Roman was able to, and then place those body shots, because Fulton is so slippery up top, but place those body shots to set up the head shots, I still think he'll win the fight. And part of why I think he'll win the fight is he doesn't have to be as perfect as Fulton. Fulton has to box perfectly for 3 minutes of the round. Inoue could be losing 2 minutes into the round, 45 seconds left in the round. Fulton, for just a 5-10 second sequence, has to lay on the ropes for a moment and work his defense. And those booming body shots, if they make Fulton react and the crowd in Japan gets loud, he only needs moments each round to win rounds. Fulton's the guy who needs to be more perfect for 3 minutes of every round. Now, that being said, I mean, I could still see Fulton just boxing his ears off and coming home with the big win and proving people wrong. I could totally see that happening for Cool Boy Steph, but I give the edge based on everything I just said to the monster. So, let me see. Someone said, "Come on, Sean." What? I want to read the rest of that. Super chat is moving today. Alycia Eric Osai, great, Sean. I'll give you an interview time if you wish. I'm fighting Lyndon Arthur, who beat Anthony Yard, sweeping light heavyweight division. I'll take Bivol fight straight after. Well, shout out Alycia Eric Osai. Hey, shout out, brother. Good luck to you against Lyndon Arthur. And yeah, man, maybe let's hook up on Twitter to talk about the fight before we get to fight night. Good luck to you, brother. And good to have a fighter in the chat, man. Apparently, we're starting to have more fighters in the chat. Tim Bradley stops by. Andre Ward has told us he's been in these once in a while. So you never know who's lurking in the chat. Blind Faith says, next for Yard and Bam Rodriguez, Xander Fundora. Ooh, Xander Fundora is a little too early for Xander, and he's with Top Rank. Fundura's with PBC. So you're not going to see, you probably never see Xander and Fundora. Fundora, I don't know what's going to be left of Fundora after that knockout. He may never be the same after getting knocked out by Mendoza. So we'll see. We'll see. I think Xander, his ceiling projects to be a guy that would beat Fundora, but he's not there yet. He's a baby. And then for Yard, who's that light heavyweight for Yard? I know there's got to be... There's always some good domestic fights at light heavyweight for him out there. Let me take a look at the rankings just real quick. Let's see who's out there for your boy, Anthony Yard. Lions in the camp. My son actually loves Anthony Yard. My 4-year-old. That's like his favorite fighter because he likes watching him on the mitts. I try to show my son different fighters on the mitts. For some reason, he likes Anthony Yard. He liked the Lions in the camp. He loves that shit. So for Yard, Vozdik's on the comeback trail out of retire. Buatsi, that's a big domestic fight. Aziz, any of these guys would be a good domestic fight. I would say Callum Smith, but Callum Smith's going to get his shot at Beterbiev. So for Yard, one of these three. So, thank you, Blind Faith. And I think that's another one from Blind Faith too. Inouye's injury is suspect because Vada came in, or no? Oh yeah, very suspect. Very suspect. Yeah, Inoue might be juicing. At this level, a lot of guys might be juicing. We know Pacquiao, Canelo, Roy Jones, Evander Holyfield, Sugar Shane Mosley. You know, Floyd had some IV fluids drained the night before Pacquiao. This is professional sports, man. Conor Benn, Caleb Plant has the same physique as Conor Benn, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And then even the guys who aren't making millions of dollars, like Alberto Puello, was on something before he got popped and got stripped against Rolly. So, yeah, extremely suspect that Inoue was bitching and complaining about getting random tested. And Inoue is an arrogant man from what I've dealt with him. I've got to interview him here in the States. I'm a big fan of him as a fighter. But he is a little arrogant, and he is a little bit used to having his way and having his ass kissed and treated like a king at home in Japan. So he showed that entitlement when Vada was like, yeah, it's random. What the fuck do you think is the point of us testing you? Of course it's random. And he bitched about it, and then the fight got moved to a later date. So that is suspect. Yeah, this is at the top levels of professional sport. Nothing surprises me in that area. So thank you for the super chat, Blind Fade. So, man, but you guys have been awesome today. Oh, and for Bam Rodriguez, Blind Faith. Next for Bam Rodriguez, he's got to prevent Sonny Edwards from making Sonny Edwards Clarissa Shields date dream come true. Sonny Edwards been spitting such good game at Clarissa. He's been so charming. Been playing that underdog role, the guy that'll never get her, that Seth Rogen role. Where damn, how did he get her? You give him some credit. The guy had some charm, had some game. Sonny Edwards spitting his best game. He may, normally I'd be saying no one's going to be rooting for Bam Rodriguez more than Clarissa Shields because she does not want to go out on a date with Sonny Edwards. But Sonny Edwards was spitting that game, laying it on so thick. I don't know. I'm starting to feel like Clarissa's low-key gonna be cheering for Sonny Edwards that night. I think she feels like she's safe from the bet that Bam's going to win, and I agree with her. I think Bam will beat Sonny Edwards. But she did. We were talking about Terrence Crawford chugging on Superman's cape with the "Don't bring the Crawford's mom's dancing shoes." Well, Clarissa, she I don't know. She didn't tug on his cape, but I don't know. She sprayed some cologne on him, some Superman cologne on him before the fight. She gave him something extra to fight for. Basically, they're both very skilled with their feet, Bam and Sonny Edwards. They're both good fighters. Bam's excellent. Sonny's a good fighter, good IQ, good movement. But Bam brings that same IQ and movement, and he punches so much harder than Sonny Edwards. So I think Bam wins that fight. But God bless Sonny Edwards, man. I'll be kind of happy for him if he pulls off the upset because he gets a date with Clarissa Shields, and that'll be entertaining. So, let me see here. So, okay, we covered that. I feel like I'm... Oh, Alycia Baumgardner. Let me not put the H in her name, because she might kick my ass if I ever see her. She was quick to correct you. It's Alycia, not Alycia Baumgardner. So, Alycia Baumgardner did her Thug Thizzle for Shizzle. She definitely did. And I feel like there's only one Clarissa Shields. 3-division undisputed, or was it 2-division undisputed, 3-time ununified, 2-time gold medalist, hardly loses rounds. But this woman right here, with this latest win, she defended the undisputed titles, and she has now beaten every woman she's ever faced. She avenged her only loss against Christina Leonardou. I like Alycia Baumgardner, man. I have a lot of respect for her all-around skills. There's only one Clarissa Shields. She's the GOAT. She's the best female fighter in the world, pound for pound. But I actually think pro style, she's might be a little more skilled than Clarissa. She might be the most skilled fighter in women's boxing in a pro style sense. And what I mean by that, Katie Taylor and Clarissa, who held it down at number 1 and 2 pound for pound for the last half decade, because it's 2-minute rounds in women's boxing and not 12 rounds, 3 minutes. They still kind of fight like amateurs because it benefits you to do that amateur style. It's only 2 minutes. You don't have time to fight, slow down the pace, pick your shots, take your time. You're better off in those 2-minute rounds at various points in each round, just letting your shit go, like in the amateurs. And that's what Clarissa and Katie still do from the winning the gold medal. But Alycia has more of a purely professional style. She sets more traps than those two do. Those two, when push comes to shove, they just press that combination button. Clarissa has more pro tricks than Katie Taylor. She has the up jab, the upper body head movement like the pros. She goes to the body, doesn't just throw head hunting fast combinations like an amateur. Clarissa definitely has some professional sauce in her bag. She goes to the body, she throws the up jab, she's got the upper body movement, but she tends to, press that button and use that, and that's like her cheat code. Is I'm gonna just light you up with this 10-punch combination. But Alycia Baumgardner slows the pace down, drops that lead hand, sets traps, picks her shots. To me, she has a little bit more of that professional style than someone like Clarissa. She's the second best fighter in women's boxing, pound for pound. Chantel Cameron is excellent. Chantel Cameron might beat her head to head because Alycia might be a little light in the ass, moving up from 130 to 140. Cameron's a very good pressure fighter, good body puncher, natural 140 pound, tough Brit. So, but pound for pound, I think Baumgardner has become the second best fighter in female boxing, and she has the most pro style in female boxing. Female boxing consists of decorated amateurs who still use some of that style, like Katie and Clarissa, and then it's got tough come forward girls. But Alycia does stuff that you see the fellas do the most in the pro game. She sets traps, picks her shots, slows the pace down, and has really good defense. She has very good defense, Alycia Baumgardner. I've been very impressed with her lately. I love the buffs, the Detroit shades, the Detroit swagger. So tip of the cat to the undisputed super featherweight champ, Alycia Baumgardner. She continues to get better and is a complete fighter. She punches hard, super athletic, very good defense, and smart fighter. Yeah, hats off to Alycia Baumgardner for sure. So yeah. Let's see. I think we just about hit every note. I think so. Keyshawn should win by stoppage this weekend. Kambosos has to prove he's a couple levels above the domestic level, and not a one-hit wonder against T.O. Andy Cruz looked good, not great. Like that he was settled down and fundamental with it, and not in his first fight relying on all his sauce and tricks from the amateurs and that cocky, beautiful Cuban style. He can't, but I think that style will come along in addition to Bozienis settling him down behind the fundamentals. And I do think you'll see a lot more sauce from Andy Cruz as he gets comfortable as a professional. And then Frank Martin, I thought got a little bit too much flack. I didn't think he was behind heading into the championship rounds against Artem. That's why Artem's face was all fucked up and his body had welts on it. They didn't get there by accident. It's because Frank wasn't as busy as he should have been, but was winning the fight going into the and then the knockdown just stopped anybody from thinking otherwise. He's the fifth best lightweight in the division. That's an incredible division right now. Not his best performance, but he still checks a lot of boxes: hand speed, strength, good pop in both hands, solid defense, good defense actually, not solid but good defense, can move, but doesn't have the experience the thoroughbreds do and the pedigree the thoroughbreds do. Tank, Devin, and Shakur, who started fighting as boys, not as teenagers like he did. He's learning on the job a little bit. And then, let me see what else. What else do we have? Oh, Freddie Sanchez. Man, Freddie Rojas. Freddie Rojas, who we interviewed on the channel here. Let me pull him up. Freddie Rojas got picked as a late replacement on the show. Not as a late replacement, but he was moved up. And this was the kid I wound up interviewing. And this kid here, who opened up the Showtime card over the weekend, 6'2" welterweight, southpaw,
for the amateur pedigree.
Fights with educated pressure. Very good sparring partner for Terrence Crawford. People were starting to go, what the hell is Terrence doing sparring but Shakur, a small lightweight, when he's getting ready for a huge welterweight in Errol Spence? Well, that was just one picture. He sparred this kid, 6'2", southpaw, intelligent pressure behind a busy jab, like Errol Spence. And Freddie said that Terrence is going to win, no doubt about it in his mind, and that he punches extremely hard. So that good sign for Crawford heading into the fight. Now, if the kid would have been saying things like, it was very good work, if the kid was more intent on talking up how well he held his own, then that would tell you Terrence had problems with this young man. But the fact that this young man's now 11-0 with 11 knockouts, and all he could talk about was the power and the mastery of Crawford. Says young man probably got his ass handed to him a little bit and came away impressed, and that bodes well for Crawford. But you never know. Some people are very magnanimous. For all I know, he was giving Crawford some work and just wants to be very respectful and talk highly on him, but that's not the vibe I got. I got the vibe that he was very sincere in his praise. So yeah. So Freddie Rojas, 11-0, 11 knockouts. He looked good. He is someone to look out for at welterweight. He's someone to look out for at welterweight. 24 years old, huge for the weight, very nice young man, and a very educated behind his length, applying pressure. Not like Sebastian Fundora giving up his height. So look out for Freddie Rojas Jr. on the rise at welterweight. And then I got a super chat to get to from Delby Diaz. Delby Diaz and, Blind Faith said Undisputed. Maybe I could squeeze some Undisputed in. Undisputed's been funny, Blind Faith. Since the new patch, it has a desync issue where you're playing two different matches. This guy's connection, your connection are on two different levels. So you wind up getting hurt with phantom punches because he's hitting you, but your connection's so different from his that you don't even see it happening. But I'll try and close with some Undisputed. Blind Faith. Delby Diaz, thank you, brother, for the super chat. Said, prophecy fulfilled. Be healthy, stop aging, and get back your youth. Return to the Garden of Eden. Tree of Life decoded book everywhere. Available everywhere. Damn. Are you saying I'm looking old, Delby Diaz? Goddamn. I'm 31. I feel like I look my age, not older than 31. The Book of Life, Return to the Garden of Eden, Tree of Life, decoded book, available everywhere. Well, that was an interesting super chat, Delby Diaz. Are you a new ager? Is that what this is about? Thank you for the super chat. I'm a little confused, but thank you. Last week was not good, Charles, and nah, man, it was terrible. It was fucking... Alright. We'll close with some Undisputed after all. We'll do that. Who's my top 10 pound for pound? I haven't done that a whole lot. I mean, in no order off the top of my head, no order. Usyk, Crawford, Spence, Inoue, Jermell Charlo, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Dimitri Bivol, Canelo Alvarez. Boom. All right. Let me get Undisputed cooking. Let me pull that up. Hold on, chat. God damn it. Here we go. Get Undisputed pulled up. Hold up. Open. Oh, hold on, never mind. My bad, chat. Trying to get Undisputed pulled up. Pinned it to, but I don't want to close the window. I just want to minimize the window. What's going on, man? All right, hold on. It's a little bit of a chore right now getting this Undisputed pulled up. Hold up. Steam. Let me go to Steam. Get it from Steam. All right, we're good. All right, chat. We'll close with a little Undisputed. Shoot some questions my way if you'd like. Otherwise, we'll close with a little Undisputed. Boom. Jim the Boxing Life. Deep breakdown of Inoue versus Fulton. Thank you for the super chat, Jim. I'm saving that for like real Inoue Fulton fight week. But I touched on it earlier. Fulton has to be perfect for 3 minutes of every round. And Inoue only needs moments, especially fighting at home where the crowd's going to react to everything he lands. He only needs moments of his explosive power with a Fulton along the ropes. Fulton has to kind of be perfect 3 minutes of every round. Fulton could be winning 2 out of 3 minutes, and then the last 45 seconds have to be along the ropes for a sequence, take a body shot that physically makes him move a little bit, gives a reaction that makes the crowd, and then Fulton, Inoue just has a couple of big moments on the ropes, and he offsets 2 minutes plus of clean boxing from Fulton. And so I give the edge to Inoue because he's a little more special in certain areas than Fulton. Fulton's so all around. He's elite. That's why if Inoue pulls this off and beats Fulton, I've seen enough from Inoue. He's special. He's a great fighter. So this will tell me everything I need to know. Here's your deep breakdown. Inoue can't hold Fulton's jockstrap, says B. So, all right. Let me be right back, chat. Let me take a quick bathroom break, and we'll come back with some Undisputed. And we'll play with Crawford since the live is about Terrence Crawford. Since that's been the man of the hour, and since you could actually switch southpaw in this game now, we'll play with some Terrence Crawford. Blind Faith asking, does Alycia beat Serrano Taylor? Yes, in my opinion. Both of those girls are beginning to age. They're well into their 30s. They've had some wars. Baumgardner's only getting better. So I think Baumgardner's younger, fresher. I think she beats those two right now. I think Baumgardner could beat Chantel Cameron at 140, but it's a question of the natural size and pressure of Cameron. Will Baumgardner be a little too light in the ass, as they say? But no, I'm with you. I got Baumgardner over Serrano and Taylor. Blind Faith. All right, chat. I'll be right back in one moment. Just a quick bathroom break. All right, let's go, chat. Let's get busy. Let's get busy. Let's get right. Let's be like that terrible Jennifer Lopez song from back in the day. We can get it right. We can get it right. I like some of J-Lo's bad songs. Remember that one song, Play? From like 22 years ago. It's like, play, come on DJ, play that song. Bad song, but kind of a good bad song. I like good bad movies, certain good bad songs. J7 said Sean Canelo said David Benavidez talks too much and that's how he makes fights. Is hilarious. So now we blackball fighters for calling you out. What the It's time for Stephanie Ray, what have you done? What are you? What?
I'm Todd Grisham, and here with me,
what have you done?
Colleague, it's Johnny Nelson.
Stephanie Ray, what have you done?
There was no way I was gonna miss this.
And I'm gonna lose probably to 59-4 Sugar Ray Leonard. What have you done, Stephanie Ray? Are you a brain surgeon?
And
Stephanie Ray,
Sugar Ray Leonard.
I have to change the camera. Thank you.
Pounds. He's got that
Thank you so I don't feel worthy.
Well anticipated. I'm just looking forward to this.
A guy talking about boxing in his crappy office.
You know what? Nobody believes
Stephanie Ray. You must be extremely successful in life to just give $500 away like that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. This is amazing.
He also can crack at welterweight.
Would you like
one of the best to ever
Would you like me to send you a a glass of lemonade or like? Is there something I can do to be worthy of your super chat beyond just sitting here? Thank you. I'll try to win this fight.
Titles in 5 different weight
Holy
classes,
shit! When you give $50, I think it's ridiculous. But $500, Stephanie Ray.
This is going to be one.
Man, you must be doing. God bless you. Thank you. You must be doing amazing in life. Thank you so much.
Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Today has been awesome. I'm happy I stayed on and babbled for as long as I have. Wow. Thank you. Let me try to actually win this fight now, I guess.
Nebraska, here is an acclaimed three-division champion of the world, Terrence.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Crawford.
Woo. Yeah, Charles and we are definitely eating Five Guys tonight. She's gonna refund, bro. If she does, I get it. I get it. It's still cool that it was even a thing for a couple of minutes, Ace fans. Honestly, if she does, I get it. But it was nice while it lasted. It was a good feeling. Alright, here we go, chat. Alright, we're Bud Crawford fighting someone extremely good, 59-4. Let's take our time like Bud. Start orthodox. I'll switch southpaw around the second and third round, like Bud does in real life. Let's see here.
All
right, chat. This guy is very good. We gotta take our time. See, can't just reach.
Nice counter punch.
Counter hook right back at him. I can't reach. Can't reach.
The crowd here cannot wait. They've been buzzing all day long, and finally, we're about to get it on.
Can you imagine walking into this club, walking into an arena with such noise, people chanting your name? You can't even hear your corner man whispering in your ear. I've been in situations like that where it can be terrorizing.
Got him.
If you haven't got your wits about you.
I'm giving up that body shot right there. Let's get it back.
Counter
can't
score.
Reach. Can't reach.
He gets out of the way of that left hand.
I'm still buzzing and tripping off Stephanie Ray. Thank you so much. It's kind of hard to focus.
Let your hands go a little bit. It's okay.
I wish we had an easier matchup today, but let's pull this one out, chat. Let's try to win this one then for Stephanie Ray.
He misses with that jab. Nice exchange here from both men. And he just missed with that left jab.
Yeah, this will be a tough fight, chat. This will be tough.
And a round that seemed like eternity for them finally comes to a close.
Wow, it was like two different leagues.
No, just once again, though, thank you, Stephanie Ray. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Now everybody wants to hit up Stephanie Ray in the chat and ask her to marry them. Hey. Blindface said he's trying to set me for the lead and straight. Yeah. Man, I all right, chat. This won't be easy.
What do we expect to see here in round 2? Safe to say that last round was a nightmare. Let's see if we can turn it around here.
Now he knows he's been hurt. He's going to come out and put the pressure on. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at you. You've got to be ready for that. Don't fight fire with fire. Hold him off. Be smart because he's going to try and put you under pressure. He knows your legs have gone. He knows your head's not cleared. Be sharp.
Good counter punching for both these athletes. This counter puncher is going to wait for you to move first, and then will strike like a snake. Keep an eye on this guy.
They have got great ring IQ. Counter punches are the best.
That left counter was perfectly timed. No rest for the weary. Nice counter shot with the right hand. Nice exchanges from both men in this round.
Don't forget, chat. I'm not really Crawford yet. I haven't switched southpaw yet, chat. I'm not really Crawford yet. Just wait, chat. Remember, Crawford's a slow starter.
right hand
Good
just
1-2.
misses. Off the charts action from both of these fighters.
Good hook. We touch that body.
He blocks the jab.
Try to. I gotta forget about that hook a little bit.
He just misses with that jab. This round's still up for grabs with just 10 seconds to go.
Oh, give me that. Just a little off with my distance on that counter.
Well, this is the time that the trainer needs to come in
Go to
and
the body.
say something special. This fighter needs
Body's
to
the
turn
equalizer.
the tables in this next round.
Needs enough.
Let's get it started in round 3. Safe to say that last round was a nightmare.
Okay, chat.
You
You guys ready?
here.
This is
Woo! Here we go.
You've just been hurt. You've got to get out there again. Be smart. Be sharp.
Here we
Don't
go.
be a fool, don't get suckered in. Make him fight your fight. Hold him, tie him up, just until your head clears again.
Here we go,
and your
chat.
legs come back again. Because if you don't, he's gonna pop you off.
They better start respecting each other's punching power. He just misses with that big right hand. Nice counter shot.
Yeah.
Either man
Yeah.
really
Now you're gonna see the real
defending
Terrence Crawford.
That left counter punch will score. Nice exchanges from both men in this round. This fighter's certainly not going to out-throw their opponent by any means, but they will, when they hit, be a lot harder.
Sometimes when you get in there with someone that's so powerful, you've got to think him. You've just got to be smarter than him. You've got to be like a little Fagin and pickpocket him. Todd, we know one of these fights can knock you out with a simple jab. They're that powerful.
He missed with that jab.
Keep my movement
Step back
good.
for just
Don't
a
want
moment.
this round to get away. Gotta move with him.
This round could go either way. 10 seconds to go.
Yep. I think we got that round, chat. Hopefully the judges gave it to me.
Well, there was no doubt about who won that round.
The real Merc TV. I gotta add you, Sean, so we can fight. Yeah, Narco too. Narco said he wanted to fight. I keep saying I'll fight people that have been wanting to, but I just get too lazy to set up how it works. You gotta invite someone probably with their Steam account. I'll do it though. We'll definitely get some matches in with the people in the chat. But yeah, man, this dude is this ain't easy. This ain't easy.
Here we go in round
They
4.
gave me that round.
He's
All right,
gonna
chat.
land
See,
the
I
first big
like
shot.
Terrence
How about
Crawford
that
turned southpaw in the
fantastic
third
last
round and started to get
Let's
cooking.
even keep his momentum going. You've heard the phrase, finding a second win. I don't think I need to tell you which one of these fighters needs to find it.
Now this is about desire. This is about character. This is about want.
Threw that uppercut too far out.
And he misses with that jab. He misses with that jab.
Don't reach. Got it.
Counter right hand again. You can tell he's stronger, but he's not faster.
Got it.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round.
Very close match. It shows the skill, the discipline, the respect both fighters have for each other, because no one dare do anything out of turn.
Reached with it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're dealing with someone with so much speed, you've got to get your timing right.
Let me explain to you about a fast fighter.
don't
Fast
reach with
fighter
that
that's got
uppercut. What am I
hand
doing?
speed and footwork. They relax. They're confident. They know they just have to quick burst, boom. In a split second, they've let 4 shots go. Their footwork has got them out of the way. And these guys
we got this round, Chad. We got this round.
That's why they can maintain this all the way through a fight.
Great counter
there
right hand.
Oh, he got me back. Good exchange.
Very close round with 10 seconds to go.
Woo!
The game plan does not
combos,
seem to be
Sean. He doesn't want to fight. I know he doesn't want to fight, but if I open up with those combos, he's just gonna step out and, you know, little sharpshoot me. So it's tough. I gotta box with him until I gotta box with him until I freeze him, and then I can start to get off to the body with combinations.
That was a tough last round.
But I gotta out jab him a little bit at distance at first and get him to stand still. If I start reaching with power shots and combinations, he'll counter.
Not until you're sensitive comeback.
Like, damn. I gotta freeze him with the jab first.
Solid punch.
Man, he don't want to fight. He don't want to fight.
Coming
they never do. They never do, Chad.
One of these fighters is starting to run out of gas. What do you do as a fighter when you just don't have the energy?
What can they change? They can change their attitude. They can change their nervous system. Throw a certain amount of punches per round. Because otherwise, if they deviate from the game plan, they're going to be shattered once again, and the fight will be over.
Nice exchanges from both men in this round.
Perfectly matched, skill for skill, tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I've got to respect both of them. More than happy.
Good counter punching from both these fighters. Not a lot of defense here at all. Jab slightly off target.
Got him.
This round could go either way. 10 seconds to go.
Close round, close round. Close round.
Got the momentum. They got the advantage. How do they carry that into the next round?
Dominance,
close round, chat.
Without a doubt, made it look so easy.
What you guys thinking of the fight right now, chat?
On to the 6th round. Well, there's no doubt about who won that last round. Let's see what he has for us here in the next one. Just gets out of the way of that left hand. Beautiful counter shot.
See what happens when I reach for that body shot? He
This
just steps
fighter
out
has
of range. I
tested
gotta
their
do everything
opponent's
off the
power
jab.
and apparently isn't
Straight
impressed as they
shots.
continue to walk through all these power shots.
Work the body, frustrate them, take the mind off the chin, take the mind off protecting everything around that. Work the body, use tactics sometimes it's so like to actually outbox a fight and beat them on points.
Here I am reaching for power shots again.
Both men step back for just a moment. Punch, counter punch. Neither man really defending themselves.
Top shot. There we go.
When you've got someone with the hand speed that this fighter possesses, how do you deal with it?
This can be so frustrating when you're under such a fast fighter that can throw 3-4 shot combinations before you've even let one off. That creates frustration, and that's when it gets hard.
And he misses with the left uppercut. You can tell he's stronger, but he's not back. You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one. Nice job landing with that right hand counter.
See, I can't get impatient in those exchanges. Ow.
Well, he is in big trouble here. He
Good
may have
fight.
been saved by the
People are
belt.
saying good
Every
fight.
second,
On the A
every
side.
minute of this fight is important.
Nice
Every
moves.
second, every minute of this round is important.
Bob and weave,
You
Sean.
cannot afford
Ray's
to
about to
lose
get
it.
too technical. It's not easy, man. It's not easy. This is a tough fight.
Round 7, here we go.
Yeah, they got me down
Safe to say
4-2.
that last round was
I'm
a
gonna have to
nightmare.
pull something out.
Let's see if we can turn it around here. Counter left hand there.
Can't get impatient, man.
This is certainly an aggressive fighter, but that doesn't always mean success. How many times have you seen a fighter chase a superior athlete around the ring and just get picked apart, even though they were the one pushing the tempo?
I've seen some aggressive fighters like this, and they are a nightmare. If you are not fit, that is the worst place to be, having second thoughts in the ring.
Throws the jab, it doesn't score.
Just take what's there. Don't reach with power shots yet.
That jab misses. Some nice exchanges from both men in this round. This fighter's certainly not going to out-throw their opponent by any means, but they will, when they hit, be a lot harder.
That power might be the do or die. That power might be the equalizer. It's the one who draws first blood, Todd. That's what you've got to look at. If you can hit, and you know you're in there with a banger, you've got to be on it, but you've got to be confident.
Oh, I'm just off with a few nice counters, man. I'm getting closer, though.
A perfect counter shot. Nice exchange here from both men. Miss with that jab. A very competitive round with 10 seconds left.
What a lame style to have to. I can't let it get to me, chat. But can't start cooks. I feel like we won that round.
Let's see how they respond.
King Bud said making Bud look bad.
They don't get complacent. You think this is too easy. If they keep this same kind of pace up,
This is why you can't have sex before a fight. The $500 super chat before the fight threw off your concentration. I'll get to him. I'll get to him, man. You guys see, it's a difficult style. He doesn't really want to engage. You know. Man, it's... I feel like I'm not fighting a terrible fight, chat. I feel like I'm fighting well. It's just, you know... I'm fighting a guy who's 59-4 with Sugar Ray Leonard, and he's fighting a very defensive fight. I feel like we are in the fight, you know. Still in this thing, still win this fight. Let's not lose faith in your boy. Let's have some blind faith in your boy, like my man Blind Faith in the chat.
Lands with the right counter. Cannot throw out a lazy jab in this fight. You'll get knocked out. Catch and shoot with the left counter. Good job. There's no doubt that this fighter's power can change the fight around in an instant. You can't afford to make one single minor mistake.
I've seen certain fighters that can depend on just their power alone. Forget tactics. They know the second they touch you, it's done. That's where the confidence comes from.
All right.
There we go.
Just gets out of the way of that right uppercut. Back and forth they go. Neither fighter willing to back down.
Skill for skill, tap for tap. Just like a match made in heaven.
Boom! There we go. Straight left hand.
That jab doesn't score. Both of these men showing exceptional chins, by the way. Nice counter shot. He fails to score with that left hook. what the judges' scorecards read, there are no losers in this one. Good left counter that lands.
That's back window. I feel like I landed him that round. I don't know.
Well, he is glad
Come on,
to
guys.
that bell.
D said, Sean, you are a fireman. You live in the heat. You train in the heat. Let's go.
There's the bell to start round 9. Off their stools and ready to go. Let's hope this round is more competitive.
They've had 1 minute to recover. Now they've got to bluff it. They've got to come out now and style it out. Get on the back foot, jab, rest on the jab. Be smart and pop until your legs come back. Then put the pressure on.
Power is obviously a great equalizer in boxing, but when you know your opponent is relying on that so heavily, how do you deal with it?
This could be really intimidating, Todd. If you know somebody's got the punch power, someone's got the speed, someone can take you out with a simple jab. It can be intimidating, just depends on how confident you are as a fighter.
They better start respecting each other's punching power. They exchange punches. Big shots from both these fighters. Got to be careful, though. Unlucky to miss with that jab.
I tried it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're dealing with someone with so much speed, you've got to get your timing right.
When you've got a fast fighter, they will cut you to ribbons, and they know it's a matter of time before either you get desperate or the referee jumps in and saves you. This is a natural gift.
Looks like this fighter did not work on defense this training camp. Very close round with 10 seconds to go.
Feel like I got that round. Come on.
They've got the advantage so far, but how does...
Come on. What score? They got me down a point, chat. We're almost even.
What are we going to have in this round?
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
Catch and shoot. And just as quickly as it slows down, it heats back up. Not a lot of punch output. Thought there might be more action here.
Gotta scratch my face. Okay, you're good.
I think it's safe to say one of these fighters certainly has a significant speed advantage. You can tell who it is.
I tried to stay in range to counter something. He went in and out nice.
Can they figure out the combination to this safe? Can't score with that jab. Beautiful
you gonna give him that? Come on, Dan.
Just missed with that big right hand. You've seen all the famous boxing movies, the training scenes, the gym work. That's what it all boils down to. Who's going to have more endurance?
Midway through the fight, if you are tired, this can be the loneliest place in the world. If you've cheated, now we're going to find out.
This round's still up for grabs with just 10 seconds to go. Perfect counter lands.
You got that. Damn it. Damn it. All right.
What would you tell this guy? He's got to do something different.
Every second, every minute of this fight is important. Every second, every minute of this round is important.
All right.
You cannot...
We need these last 2 rounds. We need them. That one got away.
The 11th, we've entered the championship rounds. So the fight will continue. How do they turn things around? There's a counter shot.
That's a crazy movement.
Nice job landing that left counter punch. Good one. Nice counter. Beautiful counter shot. Nice counter shot.
You got that exchange.
You've got to watch out for that uppercut. We're not seeing a lot of defense. One of the best attributes to have in boxing has nothing to do with boxing. It's how well you can take a punch to the face.
This is when you get in the ring feeling like you're King Kong because you know you've got a chin that is not going to get dented.
And they figure out the combination to this safe. It's all offense all the time. Man really defending themselves. Trying to land that jab. This round could go either way. 10 seconds to go.
Close round, man.
I promise
you, very tough style to deal with. Tough style.
I seriously hope the judges kept their
double hook, body. Trust me, man. He ain't standing in range for more than this. It's tough.
To the 12.
I got it.
Off that
I'm gonna try this.
fantastic last round. Let's see if he can keep his momentum going.
The shot we've been landing all night is the straight left hand. So there it is.
Punching.
See if I can get something with it. Maybe I could bring a hook behind
Endurance
it.
is becoming a factor. You can see this fighter having a hard time getting out of the way of the punches, and they're not throwing as many on their own.
What can they change? Can they slow the pace down? Can they hope to knock them out early? What can they do? They've got to concentrate and relax. Because you know what you can do in the gym, you can do it in the fight. You've got to relax.
Straight left hand counter.
Through the hook, didn't land. The counter punch.
Straight left hand counter. That's all you could do with him is shoot straight shots. That's all that's there.
The right hook misses. Some nice exchanges from both men in this round. Jab does not score. There's a big difference between being the aggressor and the effective aggressor. Which type are we seeing so far?
Sometimes when you have a fight, the best way to beat a fight is not give them what they want. Because they want to get you there. They want you to stand there toe-to-toe with them and have a tail. That's what they do in the gym every single day of the week. What you've got to do is you've got to frustrate them as they set their shots. Get out of the way. And they'll get so angry, so frustrated because they can't work.
Very close round with 10 seconds to go.
Look at that little bullshit ass animation on the little double, triple, straight right hand. That little cheesy shit. I tried, chat. I was game.
A unanimous decision.
The man is 59 wins, 4 losses.
What a result.
And was fighting like you know what. Man. 115, 113 on all 3 cards. I had a chance to get the draw on that last. I lose the tough 115, 113 unanimous decision. Tough, close. My man wouldn't stand in exchange with me at all. Just in and out behind his little, his little touch shots, but good fight. I blocked 259 punches. He blocked 129. He threw 200 more punches than I did. I out-countered him 27-21. But he was busier. In and out, in and out. Good fight. He walked me down all fight. Oh, come on, no bars. Don't do me like that. Come on, guys. But, hey, 59 wins. 4 losses, 1 draw. Good fight. That was tough. I tried to stay focused and pull it out, but that's a tough. It is to the losers camp. To the losers camp. Chat. Hopefully that's not an omen, says TM Harks. Yeah, that one hurt, chat. Do we call it a day then, chat, on the L? I think we do. What game is this? This is Undisputed. This is Undisputed on PC. So, Malcolm Emmanuel, what's up, man? How you doing? Salute, Blind Faith. Yes, that was tough L. That was a tough L, but good chess match. Good chess match, but I got the L. Sucks. Sucks. I learned some things though, chat. I learned some things. I learned to gang not reach. And when guys are just spamming 1-2 in and out, just you gotta out 1-2 them. I guess you gotta only throw the jab in the straight left hand or straight right hand. I disagree, no bars. He didn't fight just like Sugar Ray fights. Sugar Ray, his best punch was a left hook, and he threw like one left hook the whole fight. Sugar Ray is going to be in and out and fight behind his jab, but Sugar Ray at various points in the fight is going to plant his feet in the pocket and exchange and get off that huge left hook to the body and to the head. And he didn't do that at all. He was just in and out, 1-2, in and out, 1-2. He fought like it was the Olympics. He outpointed me. He didn't even get close to hurting me once. He just outpointed me. You know, it was like an Olympic fight. Yeah, it's not an L. When Stephanie Ray guarantees that today was not an L, no matter what. Bebop Jones saying Ray had that double jab too. He did. But all right, chat. I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead, man. It's not gonna get much better than what Stephanie Ray made my day. I'm going to go hang out with the family. Much love, chat. Thank you, everybody. What's up, Zachary Murray? God bless you, too, brother. Thanks again so much to Stephanie Ray. And thanks for everyone in the chat. This was one of the funnest lives. Not just because the super chats, but just because how many people were here on just a regular Monday excited to talk boxing. So keep it locked in here throughout. I'll be in Oklahoma this Saturday for the George Kambosos fight. I'll try and get some last-minute thoughts from guys like Tim Bradley. Shakur Stevenson will probably be there watching Keyshawn Davis, get some last-minute thoughts from him before Crawford and Spence fight. May the best man win 2 weeks, 12 days from today. And I'll be live definitely a week from today, every Monday. That's for sure, every Monday. But we'll see. Maybe you have to go live with some other things in between now and then. But we'll have some interviews coming your way and lots of coverage here on Fight Hype. God bless, and thank you, everybody. It sucks that I had to take the L, but at least it was just 115, 113 against a guy who didn't really want to engage. And, it was like an Olympic fight today. He outpointed me in an Olympic fight. So if he wanted to fight like they do in the pros, I'd have took care of him. But, every great fighter has their excuses when they lose, and I'm no different. Everyone have a great